Ladies and gentlemen, it is me again. It is Al Hassan Yusuf Trauli again. It is the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. This time it is version 3.0. Yes, we are already on our third edition. The Tertiary Business Sense Challenge is a highly intellectual competition among tertiary business students across the country. It brings together the best brains in business and then future managers of the global economy. The lecturers leading the students to this competition are Mr. Mozart Homau and Mr. Edward Sedro. If we have contestants from the whole technical university, please join me upstage. Contestants, you're welcome. Now, competing against the whole technical university is Central University. The person leading the students to this competition is Miss Emanuela Afuro. If you have contestants from Central University, please join me upstage to my right. Contestants, you are welcome. You are reminded that this program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. The program is currently streaming live on Facebook on the Daily Graphic Ghana page. Kindly share with your friends so that they can watch us live. Our sponsors are the Trillium Industrial Company Limited, ICAG, PwC, Glycolife, CompuGhana, and this year we have MTN Ghana joining us. Our technical partners are the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants SIMA, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, and then the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our media partners are TV3, 3FM, Graphic Online, and then Graphic Business. Ladies and gentlemen, this is version 3.0 of the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. Before we can begin the competition, we want to hear from our contestants. Contestants from Whole Technical University, kindly introduce yourselves. The program you are offering?
Accountancy. Wojo Comba Marketing, level 300.
Ampon Richmond area, Banking and Finance, level 300.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, what are your expectations for this year? Last year, you left in the first stage. At this stage last year, what different thing do you hope to do this time?
Well, we hope to perform better than we did last year.
You hope to perform better than last year. So which stage do you think you can get to?
We came for it and we are going with it.
Okay. They came for it and they will go with it. Yeah, so that is Whole Technical University. Central University, let us know you.
Jesse Ademani, level 400 accounting.
Diana Decker, level 400 accounting.
Okay.
Bubakar Umaru, Banking and Finance, level 400.
That's fine. You're welcome. What are your expectations for this year?
We hope to do better.
You hope to do better? Okay. Better could be in terms of marks, so you may still lose and then get...
No. Better is in progress.
All right, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, those are contestants, those are institutions. The contest is between the Whole Technical University and then the Central University. Before we can begin, I'll read out the rules of the engagement to all of us. Now, there are going to be 5 rounds for this contest. Each round has its own unique rules and regulations, and contestants are to take notes. Questions will be read out twice unless otherwise indicated. In round 1, we are going to have theory questions and to test contestants' understanding of basic principles and concepts in business. Each institution shall have the opportunity of answering 5 major questions. A major question correctly answered attracts 3 points, and a bonus question answered correctly attracts 1 point. Unless otherwise indicated, contestants have 2 attempts only at a major question to be answered within 15 seconds. Now, if it's a bonus question, you have just 1 attempt to be answered within 5 seconds. Questions can be drawn from any of the major business areas. Are we okay with these rules and regulations?
Yes, sir.
Our contestants are ready. Our audience are ready. The questions are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, this is version 3.0. We begin from round 1. So we are starting from whole technical university, but this is a common preamble. Kindly take note, both schools. Round 1 theory. I'm sure you all know of a non-current asset. You know of non-current asset register. Now my question to both schools, beginning with whole technical university. You have to give me 3 contents of a non-current register, non-current asset register.
It will contain the name of the assets, the dates in which they are purchased, and their useful life.
That is correct. Central University, 3 contents of a non-current asset register.
The cost, the class, and the date the non-current asset was acquired.
That has been mentioned already. You have one last chance to add to it.
The currency.
I'll give it to you. So the next set of questions, beginning from whole technical university. Now, the element of the 7 C's of effective communication, which states that communication should convey all facts required by the audience, is known as. The element of the 7 C's of effective communication, which states that communication should convey all facts required by the audience, is known as.
Correct.
That is not correct.
Convenience.
It is also not correct. Bonus for Central University.
Complete.
Completeness is correct. Completeness is correct. Now, Central, your major question. The element of the 7 C's of effective communication, which states that information should be conveyed in the least possible words, is. The element of the 7 C's of effective communication, which states that information should be conveyed in the least possible words, is.
Conciseness.
That is correct. Our next set of questions. Whole Technical University. Standards which can be attained under optimal operating conditions, where there are no breakdowns, no wastages, no times lost, are referred to as. The standards which can be attained under optimal operating conditions, where there are no breakdowns, no wastages, and no lost times, are referred to as.
Pareto efficiency.
That is not correct. You have one last chance.
Economic order quantity.
It is not correct. Bonus for Central University.
Ideal.
Ideal standard is correct. Ideal standard is correct. Now your major question, Central University. The continuous and systematic process of measuring one's output and or work processes against the toughest competitor or those recognized as the best in the industry is known as. The continuous and systematic process of measuring one's output and or work processes against the toughest competitor or those recognized as the best in the industry is known as.
Benchmarking.
That is correct. Whole Technical University, I'm back to you. When a partnership is converted to a limited liability company, the excess of the purchase price over the partnership assets taken over is known as. When a partnership is converted to a limited liability company, the excess of the purchase price over the partnership assets taken over is known as.
Goodwill.
That is correct. Your major question, Central University. A credit transaction system where ownership resides with the vendor until the final installment is paid by the buyer is called. A credit transaction system where ownership resides with the vendor until the final installment is paid by the buyer is known as.
Leasing.
Lease is correct. Lease or hire purchase, both of them can be correct. We'll take our last set of questions for this round. Whole Technical University. The power which comes about as a result of one's ability to determine who will receive particular rewards or benefit is known as. The power which comes about as a result of one's ability to determine who will receive particular benefits or rewards is known as. You've been bailed out. Bonus for Central University.
Authority.
It is not correct. It is not correct. I'm not going to give the answer now until we are done with your question. Power as a result of an individual's ability to direct others, their because they are perceived as knowledgeable or talented in a given area is known as. The power is a result of an individual's ability to direct others because they are perceived as knowledgeable or talented in a given area is known as.
Expertise.
Expert power or expertise is correct. So your question was supposed to be reward power. I even mentioned the reward in it. Reward power. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of round 1. The contest has been between Ho Technical University and Central University. Both are looking to improve upon what they did last year and promises to be exciting. We will go to our scores to see how both schools performed, but you are reminded that this is the 3rd edition of the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more.
Please don't do this, man. Yo, Nana. Amanda just left me right, you know. The things I've done for this girl, pa. Who would that be like me? They carry goods from Abubulochi to Kaneshi.
Catch up with family and friends like never before. Just pay for only the first minute of your call and pay absolutely nothing for the rest of your call.
See, Amanda has left me. Oh. Huh? You know the most painful part? See, I can't do enough for my hand. Oh. Thank you. This is my last hope. Amanda has left me. Oh.
See, bro, Mr. Fakusia left me.
But you also.
Plus, you also get 50 megabytes a day just for your first call.
Could you, Charlie? Amanda left me. Oh.
Yeah, she made you carry load.
Oh.
Dial *550# to subscribe to MTN Free after once a day.
Amanda.
Terms and conditions apply.
In life, you sometimes seem to be cruising along. But just when you least expect it, things could go horribly wrong.
Leave nothing to chance. Let Geico Group help you achieve your goals with customized solutions for life and general insurance, healthcare and finance. Geico, we cushion you for life.
At the end of round 1, the scores are as follows. Ho Technical University to my left had 6 points. Central University to my right had 17 points. Central University has taken an early lead. We will see how it goes in the next round. The next round will be on calculations, and I'm going to read out the rules governing that round. Ho Technica, what are your expectations going into the next round? You didn't start on a very good note.
We're still hoping for the best.
Okay, they are still hoping for the best. But they are reminded that even the loser could get a chance to go into the next stage. But you need to be the best loser among the preliminary contests. So whoever is losing or whoever will lose should make sure you lose honorably. This is round 2 and this is calculations. Ladies and gentlemen, in the round 2, we are going to test our students' knowledge on their quantitative skills. Each institution shall have the opportunity of answering 5 major questions. A major question answered correctly attracts 3 points, and a bonus question answered rightly attracts 1 point. Unless otherwise indicated, contestants will have 30 seconds within which to give an answer. There are only 2 attempts for a major question. Now, for a bonus question, contestants will have 10 seconds within which to give an answer and only 1 attempt. Are we ready? Central, are we ready? Whole technical, are we ready? Yes, so, ladies and gentlemen, we enter into round 2. We are beginning from Central University. Central, your question. Emanuela buys a dog for 200 cedis. She sells the dog for 400 cedis. She then buys the dog back for 600 cedis, and she sells the dog again for 100 cedis. In the end, how much money did she make or lose? Emanuela buys a dog for 200 cedis. She sells the dog for 400 cedis. She then buys the dog back for 600 cedis, and she sells the dog again for 100 cedis. In the end, how much money did she make or lose?
300 cedis.
Indicate if it's a gain or a loss.
It's a loss.
Of
300 cedis.
That is correct. Whole technical university, your major question. Mozart buys a bag for 100 cedis. He sells the bag for 150 cedis. He then buys the bag back for 200 cedis, and he sells the bag again for 250 cedis. In the end, how much money did he make or lose? Or did he break even? Mozart buys a bag for 100 cedis. He sells the bag for 150 cedis. He then buys the bag back for 200 cedis and sells the bag again for 250 cedis. In the end, how much money did he make or lose?
So he made 100 profit.
That is correct. Your major question, Central University. Martin sold a cow to Nat at 20% profit. Nat sold a cow to Robert at 25% profit. If Robert paid 900 cedis, at what price did Martin purchase the cow? Martin sold a cow to Nat at 20% profit. Nat sold it to Robert at 25% profit. If Robert paid 900 cedis, then at what price did Martin purchase the cow?
$744 cedis.
That is not correct. You have one last chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for whole technical university.
600 Ghana cedis.
That is correct. 600 cedis is correct. Whole technical university, your major question. Osman sold a chair to Sebe at 10% profit. Sebe sold it to Kwabena at 20% profit. If Kwabena bought it for 660 cedis, what is the price at which Osman bought the chair? Osman sold the chair to Sebe at 10% profit. Sebe sold it to Kwabena at 20% profit. If Kwabena bought it for 660 cedis, what is the price at which Osman bought the chair?
It's 500 cedis.
That is correct. Central University, your major question. Given an initial deposit of 100,000 cedis, the maximum money that was created in an economy is 5 million cedis. What is the cash reserve ratio in the commercial banking system? Given an initial deposit of 100,000 cedis, the maximum amount that was created is 5 million cedis in the economy. What is the cash reserve ratio in the commercial banking system?
50.
That is not correct. You have one last chance.
0.02.
I'll give it to you. 0.02 is the same as 2%. I'll give it to you. Whole technical university, your major question. Suppose a customer deposits 120,000 cedis in a commercial bank and the cash reserve ratio imposed by the central bank is 5%. What is the maximum amount created by the commercial bank? Suppose a customer deposits 120,000 cedis in a commercial bank. The cash reserve ratio imposed by the central bank is 5%. What is the maximum amount which can be created by the central bank, by the commercial bank?
So 2,400,000.
That is correct. 2.4 million. Central University, your major question. Now, Ben deposited 7,200 cedis in a finance company which pays 15% simple interest per year. Find the amount he's expected to get after 4.5 years. Ben deposited 7,200 cedis in a finance company which pays 15% simple interest per year. Find the amount is expected to get after 4.5 years.
48,600.
It is not correct. You have one last chance.
120,600.
It is also not correct. Bonus for whole technical university.
13,000. Sorry, 100 and
13,504.
It is not correct. It's 12,060. You should have listened to the figures. 12,060. You were quoting in thousands when I gave it. Now, your major question, whole technical university. A bank advanced 20,000 cedis for 3 months at 6.5% per annum simple interest. What sum will be required to repay the loan at the end of the period? A bank advanced 20,000 cedis for 3 months at 6.5% per annum simple interest. What sum will be required to repay the loan at the end of the period?
20,317.
Please come again.
20,317.
It is not correct. You have a final chance.
32,500.
That is not correct. Bonus for Central University.
20,325.
That is correct. 20,325 is the correct answer. And we'll take our last set of questions for round 2. Beginning from Central University. Your major question. A man spent 2/5 of his salary on house rent, 3/10 of the same salary on food, and 1/8 of the salary on transport. If he has 1,400 cedis left with him, find his expenditure on food and transport. A man spends 2/5 of his salary on house rent, 3/10 of the same salary on food, and 1/8 of the salary on transport. If he has 1,400 cedis left with him, find his expenditure on food and transport. You've been bailed out. Bonus for whole technical university.
13,999.
That is also not correct. The correct answer is 3,400. 3,400. Now your major question, whole technical university. After spending 2/5 of her money on food and 1/6 on cosmetics, a woman was left with 1,300 cedis. How much did she have originally? After spending 2/5 of her money on food and 1/6 on cosmetics, a woman was left with 1,300 cedis. How much did she have originally?
780.
That is not correct. You have one last chance. You've been bailed out. Bonus for Central University.
3,000.
3,000 is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, that will bring us to the end of round 2. 3,000 cedis is correct, and that goes to Central University. At the end of round 2, the scores are as follows. Whole Technical University had 10 points. Central University had 8 points. In this round, we are going to give both schools a similar problem, the same problem actually, and they are to work as a team and provide one solution. Each school will have 10 minutes within which to provide their solution, and they are supposed to submit their solution to me, which will then be compared with what the technical committee has produced. The maximum number of points awarded here is 10. Contestants, are you ready to go into the next round, which is the business case of the day? You may send one rep forward to pick your question and some sheets to do your work. You are not to open until you are told to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready, let us open our business case of the day, round 3. You can go ahead and open your envelopes. There are 2 copies of the same problem. You may share. So there are 2 copies in the envelope. All right. We are going to read so all of us can hear. You are not to start work until you are told to do so. The balance on 31st December 2018 in the cash book of ICAG Limited was a credit of 14,205 cedis. The balance per bank statement was 11,265 cedis. An examination of the cash book and bank statements revealed the following. A check drawn in favor of ICAG by Isaac Bampo for 3,900 cedis was dishonored. No entry regarding the dishonored check was made in the cash book. 2. Checks amounting to 23,550 was issued by ICAG before 31st December, but was not presented at that date. 3. 9,750 cedis received from a customer was credited to ICAG's bank account through InterSwitch system, but no entry was made in the cash book. 4. ICAG paid checks amounting to 10,860 into a branch of its bank on the morning of 31st December, but was not recorded in the bank statement. 5. The total of the payment side of ICAG's cash book at the foot of page 17 was 182,625, which was carried to the top page of page 18 as 190,725. 6. Bank charges of 1,140 was charged by the bank, but was not entered in the cash book. 7. ICAG subscribed for an IFAC bulletin for its members. The bank made this transfer on ICAG's behalf. ICAG estimated that the forest cost of the subscription was 180 cedis and showed it in the cash book as such. The bank statement recorded the cost was actually 210 cedis. Required. You are required to make the appropriate adjustment in the cash book. You are also required to prepare a bank reconciliation statement as at 31st December 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our business case of the day. Contestants, you may start work now. You have 10 minutes. One minute more. You should be wrapping up. Ladies and gentlemen, please stop work and present your solution. You have your... All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will go through the suggested marking scheme, after which we look at what our schools did. This is still version 3.0 of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge. We are on round 3 of the contest between Whole Technical University and Central University. Round 3 is business case of the day, and we presented a problem that has to do with bank reconciliation statement, a concept I expect all our institutions to be familiar with at this level. All right, so they were presented with some financial information, and they were supposed to prepare to make adjustments first in the cash book and also to prepare the bank reconciliation statement. Let us look at what the suggested solution should look like. All right, so we are told that the balance on 31st December in the cash book of ICAG Limited was a credit of 14,205. The balance on the bank statement was 11,265. As we all know, cash book is supposed to have a debit balance ordinarily, but we are told in this case that it has a credit balance. So if you are to prepare an adjusted cash book, that should go to the credit side. An examination of the cash book and bank statement revealed the following. 1. A check drawn in favor of ICAG by Isaac Bampo for 3,900 was dishonored. No entry regarding the dishonored check was made in the cash book. Now, usually if a check is made in your favor, it means it is presented to you. Okay, so once you receive the check, you enter it on the debit side of your cash book as a receipt. Now, once you take it to the bank and it is dishonored, the best thing to do is to come and reverse the thing in your cash book. So to reverse it, you credit your cash book. 2, checks amounting to 23,550 was issued by ICAG before 31st December, but was not presented at that date. Technically, these checks are referred to as unpresented checks, and they are treated in the bank reconciliation statement and not in the adjusted cash book. 3, 9,750 received from the customer was credited to ICAG's bank account through InterSwitch system, but no entry was made in the cash book. Now, this was a direct lodgement or direct transfer. It was made by an organization or a customer to the company's bank account directly. So since it's an inflow to you as an organization, you are supposed to record it as a debit in your cash book, as direct lodgement, direct transfer, however you want to term it. 4, ICAG paid checks amounting to 10,860 into a branch of his bank on the morning of 31st December, but was not recorded in the bank statement. Technically, these checks are referred to as uncredited checks. Okay. No, 10,000, yes, 10,850. Yes, uncredited checks. 5, the total of the payment side of ICAG's cash book at the foot of page 17 was 182,625, but it was carried to the top as 190,725. Now, if something is at the payment side and it is overcast, okay, it was supposed to be 182, but it was brought forward as 190. It's a misstatement, but it was misstated at the credit side or payment side. So to reverse it, you bring it to the debit side of 8,100. Bank charges of 1,140 was charged by the bank but was not entered in the cash book. We all know bank charges should go to the credit side of the cash book because they are expenses. ICAG subscribed for an IFAC bulletin for its members. The bank made this payment on ICAG's behalf. ICAG estimated that it would be 180 and showed it in its cash book as such. However, the bank statement recorded it as 210. So it is correctly stated in the bank statement. The mistake was made in your cash book. You understated it. Payment, but it was understated. So to rectify this error, you just need to go back to your cash book and then write the difference of 30 on the credit side or the payment side because you end up paying. So ladies and gentlemen, that's a brief explanation of what we expected our contestants to do. Now let's look at the solution. So you need to write, since this is a typical accounting question, we expect that you write the name of the organization you are dealing with, which is ICAG Limited. If you do that, you get 1 tick. You have to indicate the type of statement you are preparing, adjusted cash book as at 31st December 2018, and that is also 1 tick. Now, when we go to the debit side, we have direct lodgement of 9,750. We have misstatement error of 8,100. When we go to the credit side, we have balance brought forward 14,205. We have dishonored checks of 3,900. Bank charges of 1,140. We have direct debit or understatement of 30. You add the total of the credit side because it is greater than the debit side. You get a total of 19,275. It means, therefore, that the balance carried down, which should go to the debit side, is 1,425. And this should be brought down to the next period. That should also give you a tick. If you are to do all of this correctly, you get 10 ticks for the adjusted cash book. 10 ticks times 0.5 or half should give you 5 marks for the adjusted cash book. When you go to the bank reconciliation statement, we expect that you state the name of the statement. As bank reconciliation statement as at 31st December 2018, you get a tick there or 1 mark there. You need to state the balance. Either you are starting with the bank balance or the adjusted cash book balance. If you state that correctly, you get 1 tick. You are supposed to add or less uncredited checks or unpresented checks, depending on how you started. So if you state those 2 correctly, you get 2 ticks there, and then the balance, you're able to get a final balance, that is the other balance, you get another tick. So for the bank reconciliation statement, you get 5 marks there. The adjusted cash book, you get 5 marks there, total of 10 marks. Now let us look at what our institutions did. We start from Whole Technical University. Whole Technical University stated the name of the organization correctly. They stated the name of the statement they were preparing, adjusted cash book correctly. Now, when we go to the debit side of the cash book, they brought dishonored checks to the debit side. I wonder why they did that. They also stated correctly the fact that there's direct lodgement from a customer, which is correct. And then they also brought the overstatement or misstatement of 8,100, which is correct. Now, on the credit side, they brought the balance brought down 14,205, which is correct. Bank charges of 1,140 was stated correctly. But because there were some differences, the total was wrong, and therefore their balance carried down or balance brought down will be wrong. For that side, they got 6 ticks. I multiply that by half, and that is 3 marks. When we go to the bank reconciliation statement itself, because they got the balance per adjusted cash book wrong, they brought it down here, which is also wrong. But they were able to write the uncredited checks correctly, also unpresented checks correctly, and then they brought the error, which has to do with the direct debit. That should have gone to the adjusted cash book. Now, for that side, they got 3 there as well. For their effort, they get 6 out of 10. Central University, they only stated, they didn't state the name of the organization they were dealing with. They just stated adjusted cash book. That is 1 tick there. They indicated correctly that there was a transfer from a customer, 1 tick there. When we go to the credit side, they brought the balance brought down correctly. Overstatement of balance was supposed to be at the debit side. They brought it to the credit side, which is wrong. Bank charges 1,140 was brought correctly. Dishonored checks of 3,900 was brought correctly. So when you count the ticks, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there for the cash book. You multiply that by half, it is 2.5. We go to the bank reconciliation statement. They named the statement correctly. They have 1 mark. The balance as per bank statement, that is what they started with. That is correct. They also brought the forest subscription here, which is not supposed to be here. That is wrong. Unpresented checks. They brought uncredited checks correctly. I don't know why the unpresented checks, I don't know where they got their figure from, because the figure is stated there. I don't know how they got their figure, but that is wrong. So they had 3 ticks, or 3 marks, actually, for the bank reconciliation statement. You add that to the 2.5, they get 5.5 out of 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round 3, the scores are as follows. Central University had 5.5 and Whole Technical University had 6 marks. We are going into round 4.
In uncertain times, it can be hard to imagine yourself completing the CIMA professional qualification. But with our new digital-first learning and assessment platform, you can. The CGMA Finance Leadership Programme, or FLP, gives you control over your study progress. The CGMA FLP is a remote-based, self-paced learning platform that lets you qualify from home with online assessments and study support. Start from where you are in your CIMA studies. Unlike the traditional programme, you don't have to go to classes in person. All assessments and case study exam preparations take place within the comprehensive online CGMA FLP platform. Choose from 1, 2 or 3-year subscription options. Contact us to enrol or learn more about the CGMA FLP today.
Have you thought of having access to your news at any time and anywhere? Graphic Communication is giving you the opportunity to have news not only in hard copy but also in a digital form. Yes, you can have access to news at all times and even before they reach the newsstands. Simply download the Graphic News Plus from Google Play Store on your Android and App Store on your iOS device and get your digital news from your favorite daily graphic, Graphic Business, The Mirror, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports. Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Visit us on graphic.com.gh for further information. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our Tertiary Business Sense Challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more.
Central University want to exercise their option for substitution. Whole Technical University also want to do same. The coaches are directing affairs from the bench. Let us see what the substitutions will bring. Gentlemen and lady, you are welcome. Please introduce yourself.
I am Vondren Bumba Magwendi, Whole Technical University, Management Science, Level 300.
Okay, but I want to hear your name again. This time, please, take it slowly. Take it slowly, please.
Bumba Magwendi Vendren.
Vendren. I'll stick with Vendren. Yes. That's why you're welcome. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Kwabna Boateng.
Kwabna Boateng. Okay, that's simple.
Level 400 accounting.
Level 400 accounting. You're welcome, gentlemen. You're welcome, lady. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into round 4. Gradually, we are coming to the end of the contest between Whole Technical University and Central University. Now, round 4 is divided into 2 segments. We have the graphic business segment, and then we also have the true or false segment. For the graphic business segment, we are going to ask some questions from your most authoritative business newspaper. That is the graphic business. For the preliminary rounds, as you were communicated to, questions are coming from some specific dates, April 27th, 4th May, and then 11th May. I hope you are aware. Now, at this stage, schools will attempt 5 questions each. From the graphic business, a major question answered correctly attracts 3 points. A bonus question answered rightly attracts 1 point. Contestants will have 15 seconds to answer a major question, and if it is a bonus question, you have just 5 seconds. There are 2 attempts for a major question and only 1 attempt for a bonus question, unless otherwise indicated. Contestants, are we ready? Where do we start from again? I think Whole Technical University, right? Yes, Whole Technical University. Your major question. I'm sure you read the story about China exporting cocoa. Sure. We are going there. Get ready. Now, at the time China exported its first consignment of cocoa in October 2020, what was the international market price for a ton of cocoa? At the time China exported its first consignment of cocoa in October 2020, what was the international market price for a ton of cocoa?
$2,143.
That is not correct. You have one last chance.
$2,142.
It is also not correct. Bonus for Central University.
$2,432.
That is correct. 2,432 is correct. Now your major question, Central University. Now, at the time China exported its first consignment of cocoa in October 2020, how much did Ghana receive on average for a ton of its premium cocoa beans? At the time China exported its first consignment of cocoa in October 2020, how much did Ghana receive on average for a ton of its premium cocoa beans?
$2,400.
It is not correct. You have one last chance.
$2,197.
That is correct. $2,197 is correct. Whole Technical University, your major question. I'm sure you also read about the progressive licensing scheme. Now, which 3 institutions have collaborated to introduce the progressive licensing scheme to help MSMEs in the local sector to get one of their products licensed at a subsidized or no cost at all? Which three institutions have collaborated to introduce the progressive licensing scheme to help MSMEs in the local sector to get one of their products licensed at a subsidized or no cost at all?
Ghana Standard Authority, Food and Drugs Authority.
Your time is up. Once they got some correct, I'm not going to transfer it as a bonus. You got 1 out of 3. The institutions are the Ghana Enterprise Agency, the MasterCard Foundation, and the Food and Drugs Authority. You mentioned the Food and Drugs Authority correctly. Now, Central University, your major question. Identify 3 sectors which are benefiting from the Youth Africa Works project. Identify 3 sectors of the economy which are benefiting from the Youth Africa Works project.
The agricultural sector, the small and medium enterprises, and then micro, small, and medium enterprises.
That is not correct. You have one last chance. You've been bailed out. You didn't get any correct, so I'll pass it on to Whole Technical if you have an idea.
The construction sector. The transportation sector.
No, it's okay. That is not correct. I wanted specifics. We have agro-processing, food and beverage, manufacturing and pharmaceuticals. I needed specifics. Those were stated in the newspaper. So that is not correct for both schools. We have your major question, Whole Technical University. According to the Managing Director of Intercity STC Coaches Limited, how much did the company lose in revenue during the lockdown in March 2020 alone? According to the Managing Director of Intercity STC Coaches Limited, how much did the company lose in revenue during the lockdown in March 2020 alone?
$1.5 billion.
That is not correct. You've been bailed out. Bonus for Central University. You have no idea. Okay, they say they have no idea. It is 5 million cedis, 5 million Ghana cedis. Now your major question, Central University. According to the Managing Director of Intercity STC Coaches Limited, how much did the company lose in revenue for the 5 months for which there was physical distancing in public transport? According to the Managing Director of Intercity STC Coaches Limited, how much did the company lose in revenue for the 5 months for which there was physical distancing in public transport?
1.5 million.
Can I come again?
1.5 million.
That is not correct. You have one last chance.
2.5 million.
That is also not correct. Bonus for Whole Technical University.
1.6 million.
No, that is not correct. It is 6 million, not 1.6. 6 million Ghana cedis. So the company suffered a lot during they lost 5 million during the lockdown in March alone, and then when there was physical distancing in public transport, they lost 6 million cedis. Okay, so Whole Technical University, your major question. Who is the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana? Who is the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana?
Mr. Daniel Kesiti.
That is correct. But it's Dr. Daniel Casseti. I'll give it to you. Now, Central University, your major question. Who is the Executive Director of the Data Protection Commission? Who is the Executive Director of the Data Protection Commission?
Mr. Kusi Aye.
Sure. That's not correct. You have one last attempt. Even bailed out bonus for Whole Technical University.
Professor Samuel Kobina Enim.
No. Hey. That is not correct. It's Miss Patricia Eduseipoku. Madam Patricia Eduseipoku. We'll take our last set of questions for this first segment of round 4. Whole Technical University. How much is the bust margin introduced by the National Petroleum Authority recently? How much is the bust margin introduced by the National Petroleum Authority recently?
2.5 million.
Oh, no, that's not 2.5 million. You have one last chance.
2.5%.
That is not correct. Bonus for Central University.
12 pesos per liter.
12 pesos per liter. 12 pesos per liter is correct. Now your major question. How much is the Unified Petroleum Price Fund introduced by the National Petroleum Authority recently? How much is the UPPF introduced by the National Petroleum Authority recently?
3 pesos per liter.
That is not correct. You have one last chance.
5 pesos per liter.
No, that is also not correct. Whole technical bonus for you. Even bailed out. So you were actually close at the first. It's 30 pesos, not 3 pesos. 30 pesos per liter. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first segment of round 4. We are about to enter the second segment, which is a true or false, where I'll read some statements to you and you have to indicate if those statements are true or false. The program is streaming live on a daily graphic page on Facebook. Please share with your people so they can follow us. The program is still the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge version 3.0, brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our partners or our sponsors are Trillium Industrial Company Limited, ICAG, PwC, Glycolife, Compu Ghana, and MTN Ghana. Our technical partners are the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, and the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our media partners, TV3, 3FM, Graphic Online, and Graphic Business. So at the end of the first segment of round 4, Whole Technical University had 4 points and Central University had 5 points. We are going to the second segment. Now in this segment, I'm going to read some statements out to you, and you have to indicate if the statements are true or false. Each institution shall have the opportunity of answering 5 major questions. If you answer a major question correctly, you have 2 points. 2 points, not 3. You have 2 points. A wrong answer will result in a penalty of -1 point. There are no bonus questions in this round. However, a school may decline to answer a question, in which case it can be passed on to the other school with the same set of rules. You have 10 seconds within which to give an answer, and there is only 1 attempt. Contestants, are we ready? This time I'm going to start from Central University. True or false? Central University. The High Court is duly constituted by a single judge. True or false? The High Court is duly constituted by a single judge. True or false?
True.
That is correct. Whole Technical University. The final appellate body of the whole court system in Ghana is the Court of Appeal. True or false? The final appellate body of the whole court system in Ghana is the Court of Appeal. True or false?
False.
That is correct. Central University. Now, contrary to the agency theory, the stewardship theory believes that firms should have the same person as the CEO and the chairman of the board. True or false? Contrary to the agency theory, the stewardship theory believes that firms should have the same person as the CEO and the chairman of the board. True or false?
True.
That is correct. Whole Technical University. According to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we can never run out of motivation. True or false? According to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we can never run out of motivation. True or false?
It's true.
That is correct. Central University. The smallest unit of data on a binary computer is the byte. True or false? The smallest unit of data on a binary computer is the byte. True or false?
False.
That is correct. Whole Technical University. Measuring devices like the speedometer, thermometer, voltmeter are examples of digital computers. True or false? Measuring devices like the speedometer, thermometer, voltmeter are examples of digital computers. True or false?
It's false.
That is correct. Central University. TV license is not a source of revenue to a district assembly. True or false? TV license is not a source of revenue to a district assembly. True or false?
False.
You are wrong. It is true. Whole Technical University. Cash book is not a value book, true or false? The cash book is not a value book, true or false?
It's false.
You are wrong. It is true. We'll take our last set of true or false questions. Central University. Now, under the Income Tax Act, Act 896, capital allowances have been categorized into 6 classes, true or false? Under the Income Tax Act, Act 896, capital allowances have been categorized into 6 classes, true or false?
False.
That is correct. Whole Technical University. Under the Income Tax Act, Act 896, depreciation allowance for assets in classes 4 and 5 are computed in accordance with the straight line method. True or false?
It's false.
You are wrong. It is true.
Straight line, true. From the 4th, class 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of round 4. Yes, the competition is getting more exciting as we go on. We are getting to the final round where we are going to test our contestants on some riddles. This is still the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. The winner from this competition will progress to the stage 2 of this year's edition of the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. And the loser may also get the opportunity, of course, if they become the best loser after all the preliminary contests. Ladies and gentlemen, this is round 5. This is a contest between Whole Technical University and Central University. A place in the next stage is at stake. We will see who will make it. Maximum of 15 points are available at this round, and anybody at all could make it. Let us hear the bell from Whole Technical University. And that of Central University. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in this round, I'm going to read 3 riddles out. I'm going to give some set of clues, and the first school to ring their bell will be allowed to answer the riddle. If the answer you give is wrong, you can no longer participate for that particular riddle, and I'll give more clues where applicable for the benefit of the other school. When you ring a bell, you have a maximum of 10 seconds within which to give your answer. There's a weighting system on the scoring according to the number of clues given. If you're able to answer on the first clue, you have 5 points. You answer correctly on the second clue, you have 4 points. And answer on any other clue will attract 3 points. Are we ready, contestants? Best of luck to both schools. Riddle number 1. I am one of the major theories concerning dividend policy in an enterprise. I derive my name from a popular English adage. I was developed by Myron Gordon and John Lintner as a response to Modigliani and Miller's dividend irrelevance theory. I postulate that investors prefer dividend from a stock to potential capital gains because of the inherent uncertainty associated with capital gains. The basic assumption under which I operate include that the company is financed by equity only with a constant retention ratio and cost of capital. Who am I? Both schools have been bailed out. It's bird-in-hand theory. The bird-in-hand theory. Our second riddle, open to both schools. We are twin theories of human work motivation and management created in the 1950s. One of us is negative while the other is positive. Yes, Central University.
Theory X and Y.
That is correct. Theory X and Y is correct. They answered on the first clue, and that is 5 points. We'll take our last riddle. I am one of the 7 basic tools of quality control, first introduced by Carl Pearson. I am an approximate representation of the distribution of numerical data. In fact, I am the most commonly used graph to show frequency distributions. I am sometimes confused with my distant cousin, but whilst I'm used for continuous data, my cousin is a plot of categorical variables. For my construction, you first need to split the data into intervals called bins or buckets. Who am I? Yes, Central University.
Histogram.
Histogram is correct. They answered on the last clue, and that is 3 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, gone by is a riddle segment of the contest between Ho Technical University and Central University. The winner of this contest will progress to the next stage of this year's competition. This is still the Tertiary Business Science Challenge, brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, we are welcome back. The final results for the contest between Central University and Ho Technical University are out. At the end of the contest, these are the results. Ho Technical University had 30 points. Central University had 50.5 points. It has been an interesting contest. It has been an exhibition of brilliance, academic brilliance, I must say. It has been interesting. The winners from this contest, Central University, will progress to the next stage. For Ho Technical University, we may have to wait till the final preliminary round contest to know your fate. Ho Technical University, thank you very much for coming for this year's version 3.0. You did well. You exhibited academic brilliance. You did well. Unfortunately, on the day, Central University was much more prepared, and I must say, they carried the day. Central University, congratulations. You have made it to the next stage of this year's competition. Congratulations once again. I'll see you in the next stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the preliminary stage of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge, version 3.0. The contest has been between Ho Technical University and Central University. Central University qualifies to the next stage by virtue of being winners of this contest. Ho Technical University may know their fate later in the course of the round. That's the preliminary stages. I hope you enjoyed the competition. I hope you learned something, a thing or two. This is still the Graphic Business, Tertiary Business Science Challenge, brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. We will see you in the next contest where we continue to exhibit academic brilliance. My name is Al-Hassan Yusuf Traore. It's been my pleasure to represent the Graphic Business Group as a quizmaster for this year's competition. Thank you. We will see you in the next contest. Bye-bye.